Okay, in this video, this WISP podcast, I want to show how you can wire a AirCube with one wire, and it will feed not only the power, but the data as well. The way I had the AirCubes set up in a RV part where one wire feeds over and gives it data, then I put a PoE to feed the power to the cube. There is a way to take one Ethernet wire and be able to feed the power and the data from like a PoE switch. You don't have to have anything else but this at the end of the cable. You can have one Ethernet wire coming over to here and it will feed both. But you have to take the wire and actually split it between the PoE wires and the data wires. And I want to show which wires it takes to be able to make that happen on this device. So you can run Ethernet wire from point A to point B, and if you want to put one of these on the end and be able to separate the data and the PoE, this is how it can be done. All right, now the end, the RJ45, using the T568B pattern, which is the most common one out there. The A is the crossover, which is very rarely used. So pretty much just go with the B, because that's the most common one out there. So here we have RJ45 as the T568B. To get the data and the PoE separated off of this one Ethernet wire, you have to set it up this way. One is for PoE and one is for data. You have 8 wires to work with in the Ethernet. You have orange, white stripe with, and then orange, green with white stripe, blue, blue with white stripe, green, brown with white stripe, and brown. In that order, 1 through 8, as it is on the RJ45. Now, the CPE, which is going to be the router, the power, the 24 volts, is on 4, 5, the positive, 7, and 8 as the return. And that's the wires you have to get 24 volts to your device. So that leaves the wire 1, 2, and 3, and 6 left, which is data that it has to send and receive. So we have to separate them. The PoE, which is 4, 5, 7, 8, we take them wires and put it in a RJ45 according to, they go in the same spot as they do if you put them all in one, but you have to put them in the spots where to go, 4, 5, 7, and 8, which that's what I did here. This is the power. This is the 24 volts, or 48, depends on which device you're using, but this one is 24 on the cube. And then we use the other 4 to send data, 1, 2, 3, and 6. That will send the data from this single RJ45, and it will split the PoE and the data here. Now the way we have to do that is the PoE is 4578, which is this one. So we have to plug this into this jack because this is, as it says, 24 volts PoE in. So we have to plug that in there. This is the data, which is 1, 2, 3, and 6. So we plug that in there. And when you do this, be sure you log into the cube before you plug anything into the WAN side. And be sure the PoE pass-through is turned off, because you don't want voltage coming out of this port and sending voltage back. You just want to send PoE into the LAN or this port 1 and not coming back out on the WAN, because you're not feeding a device. You just need to send data into it and receive it from there, which would be from this RJ45. Now I'm going to go plug this in and just see if it works and what kind of data speed we should get. We should get very close to 100 megabits per second, which is what these are actually designed for. So let's go plug this in and see what kind of speed we actually get. Now, what I'm doing here to get that is, you see this has 24 volts on the red side, which that's the one I'm going to plug into here. I'm going to plug that into that side, as you can see. This other side is going to be the LAN side. That's the one that's going to get the data. You put your internet into here, wherever you get that internet from. Then I'm going to plug in this computer to port 2 or 3 to receive the internet that is going in here. The internet is going in here, and then the internet's coming out of here and 24 volts, and then it's split up to here. So I can have this on one end from the internet source, run this cord up to 328 feet, and be able to power a one of these cubes without having a power source where this is located. You can sit this out in the middle of the field 328 feet from this, actually even further, because 328 feet is the longest you can run the Ethernet. So technically from the internet source you can run 328 times 2, because the cord that you plug in the LAN side can be 328 feet max as well. So you can do the math to figure that out. But I'm going to plug this in with this plugged into the internet. Then I'm going to plug this computer into port 2 or 3 and see if this configuration will actually feed this data and PoE 24 volts without actually have to have a power source where this is located. Like this is 328 feet away. This will still feed it. So let's go do that and see what we actually get. Okay, I went and plugged that in, plugged the internet into the PoE on the LAN side, and then plugged the short little jumper from the PoE injector from the PoE side to the AirCube with a splitter configuration on the end. It powered up, and it shows that it has internet with that configuration. So with this configuration here, this configuration of from one RJ45 and split the wires 4 and 4 with PoE on one and the data on the other, it actually gives us power 24 volts to the AirCube, and it transfers data. So you can have that PoE, like I said, in one location and run in conduit or direct burial Ethernet wire out to your workshop and be able to plug in your AirCube, and you don't have to worry about having no power at your workshop to be able to power it, because it gets it through the Ethernet itself. That's a way to get around the way they got it designed. It's designed to have PoE that feeds the AirCube, and then the AirCube feeds the CPE that receives the data. This is how you can do it without a CPE actually attached to it. You can actually feed the AirCube with one wire and the data. So let's see what kind of speed we actually going to get. It should be very close to 100, because that's what these are made designed for. So let's bring up speed test and see what we get. All right, we get 93, 94. Trying to get 95 in there. It's trying to. We do it 2, maybe 3 times and see. We got 95 out of it. Let's do it again. See if we can get past that 95. Ping's real good, 32. Getting 95, 96. 97's trying to squeeze in there. Okay, we got 96 and a half. So it's very close to 100. So it's doing real well. That is how you take a Ethernet wire and split the PoE and the data wires and be able to feed a AirCube with one wire, and don't have to worry about having a power supply, USB or PoE injector at the location of the AirCube. Is very, very easy to do, and I would suggest when you make this end here, or actually all of them, but to make this easier doing these, get the RJ45 pull throughs so you can actually pull the wire all the way through and be sure it's on the right one, because if you're off by one, it will not work. You've got to have them 100% in the right 1, 2, 3, and 6, and the 4, 5, 7, and 8 for the power. You've got to have it on the right ones. So pull through, that way you can look and be sure you're on the exactly right spot. But that's how you can take one Ethernet wire up to 320 feet, 328 feet, and feed an AirCube and have the power supply and the data supply in one location, and send both of the data and the power over the Ethernet, and just have the AirCube on the end. And that's all you need. You just have to, if you already got an existing wire, you cut the end off where you want to put the AirCube, get 2 RJ45s and split them that way, and you'll be able to put a AirCube on that end of the Ethernet wire. It's very simple. The hardest part is making this end right here. That's the hardest part. If I have to pick one, that's the hardest part, because you got to get them wires just right. Other than that, the rest of it is a piece of cake. Now, doing it this way and running a switch with one CPE With a PoE switch, you can make each wire like this and be able to feed the cubes at each residence or each RV or campsite. And you don't have to have a power supply at each campsite. Like if you got, say, for example, say you got a section of the campground that has nothing but tents and they don't have power. Well, the way I did the setup in the RV park with a PoE feeding the AirCube at each spot would not work because there is no power. I would have to do it this way. I would have to send the power over through the Ethernet to make the AirCube work at that site in the box. So this is another way that you can actually set up an AirCube without having a power supply located at the same location where the AirCube is. Thank you for watching, and be sure you hit the like button. Be sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you can get notified when I make videos like this or other ones that I have when I install, and also when I go live once a week. Now, I've been trying to go upload certain time on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Well, that just, with my schedule, that's not going to work. I'm still going to make it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and go live on Sunday. But the times I'm posting videos is not going to be at a certain time each one of them days. It's going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Maybe some other ones if I get real busy or if I make more podcasts, which I'm going to try my best. So I may upload every day. But it's not going to be at like 9 o'clock every day of the week. It's going to be every day. If I get a chance to make a podcast 6 o'clock at night, then it's going to get uploaded that night. So hit the bell notification, hit the like button, and share the channel with others that are interested into this kind of stuff of setting up a WISP and networking. Until the next video, thanks for watching.